right, thank you, Todd. A pizza restaurant in Brunswick is back open for business after a fire that forced it to close for more than a week.
Yeah, our Leanne Stapleton is in Brunswick this morning to share what she learned after speaking with the owner there. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sharon and Lee. So I'm at Antigone's Pizza. It's off of Bath Road in Brunswick. Tyler Allen and his wife bought the restaurant in 2019, or I should say they opened the restaurant in 2019. Now, there was a fire at a storage shed that was outside of the building. And while Allen, he's, obviously upset that he lost everything that was in the shed, he's grateful that his staff are okay. He's grateful for the first responders, and he's grateful for the customers that come to buy his pizza. Clocking out for the day.
So it was Sunday on May 17th.
Tyler Allen got a call on his way home.
It was around 7 p.m. My outdoor storage shed that was behind me caught fire.
Flames, Allen was later told by the fire department, reached 15 feet above the building.
That gutter up there, which for the rain, it's made out of aluminum, and the chief told me that melts at 1,200 degrees.
As for what was inside the shed,
unfortunately, it was one giant candle. Paper bags and pizza boxes and anything you can think of that's not food related was in that shed.
Only a charred outline of where the shed once stood.
One, I'm like, why did this happen? But secondly, it makes you wake up and feel grateful every day to be able to come to work and, nobody got hurt.
Grateful for the first responders.
911 was already called 47 times.
For his staff.
Huge wake-up call when something like this happens. Our staff is like family.
And for the customers.
They were here buying pizzas and just saying how crazy this is, and they're happy we're back up and, back to their usual food now.
Allen says that investigators told him that they're not sure exactly what caused the flames, but it has been deemed accidental. Now, the walk-in freezer that was next to the shed was damaged a little bit, and Allen spent the time that he was closed fixing that up. And again, he's grateful for everybody who was involved, first responders, the customers who came out to support, and again, that his staff are okay. Live in Brunswick this morning, Leanne Stapleton, News Center, Maine.
All right, Leanne, thank you. Now to this, the June primaries are tomorrow, and here are a few reminders to make sure your voting process goes as seamlessly as possible. If you're voting in person, polls open anywhere between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., depending on the size of the population where you live. All polling places, though, do close at 8 o'clock. Absentee ballots are also due at that time, and if you're already a registered Democrat or Republican, you will have to vote in that party's primary. If you are what is considered an unenrolled voter and did not pick a party when you registered, you can choose which party's primary you'd like to vote in. And if you're not registered to vote at all, there is same-day voter registration in Maine until the polls close. If you're registering on Election Day and you'd like to be unenrolled, you can also check that option.
Now, if you're registering to vote, you need to provide either your driver's license number or your state ID number or the last 4 digits of your social security number. You also need to have with you an identity document. That could be any government document with your full legal name and address on it. Examples are a current utility bill, your driver's license or ID, or a bank statement. To vote in the primary, you have to be a U.S. citizen who is at least 18 years old and has established and maintained a residence in Maine.
Now, you might be hearing the term ranked choice voting quite a bit. Ranked choice voting is used for all state and federal primaries where there are 3 or more candidates on the June ballot. So this time around, that does include the Democratic and Republican primaries for governor, the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate, the primary for Maine's 2nd Congressional District, and certain state house primaries. When you actually fill out the ballot, you would rank candidates in order of preference. If any candidate wins more than 50% of the voters' first choice votes, they win. If not, that's where the rankings come into play. Last place candidates do get eliminated and their votes get redistributed to those voters' next ranked choice. And that process carries on and goes on and goes on until one candidate actually gets the majority and ends up winning. Also, you can just pick one candidate and only mark the first choice oval on your ballot if you do not want to rank anybody else. Your ballot will always be counted.
And if you'd like to get some additional information heading into the primary election tomorrow, we have a voter guide on our website where you can find candidate profiles and much more. You can also learn more about how ranked choice voting works before you head to the polls. There is going to be Go ahead, Lee.
There is going to be, thank you, Sharon, a meeting. Nope, back to you.
Really?
Stay with me.
Okay.
Go to you.
There is going to be a meeting later this afternoon in Greenville to discuss a proposal to add an additional moose hunting week in the town and surrounding areas. That's according to officials from the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife who will be running the meeting. They say the additional week would be in late September in wildlife management districts 8, 9, 14, and 17. They also say they chose not to move forward with opening them after public comment in January, but they want to hear from more people. That's why they're holding this meeting from 1 in the afternoon until 4 in the afternoon. It'll be at the Public Safety Building in Greenville. You can go to the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife website for more information. That is maine.gov/IFW/.